Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Um, we're going to get started in a couple minutes. Maybe just let me know if you can actually hear and see me fine, if everything is okay. If you could just drop like a little comment that sound is working fine, that would be great. And then I guess we can get started slowly in a couple minutes. I'm just going to leave enough time for people to slowly show up, and then we can get started. So in short, today we're going to talk about like the importance of photography for real estate. So why, how, what, when, how to go about it, pretty much all the different things. We have a lot of slides. So to be transparent, I just finished editing the slides like earlier today. So the design is, I really like it actually, but some things are missing. But oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, Rafael. Okay, so that's great. So maybe we can get started in a couple of minutes, I guess. Let's just wait a little bit more and then we'll get started. Great. Thanks, Rafael. Thanks, Luis. That's really nice. And by the way, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat, like as we go, and we'll just do a little Q&A session at the end. So most of the speaking, I guess, is going to be done by me. So I'll just introduce myself right after. And we're going to have Rafael as well, our CMO from the Beazy team, that might join in a couple points as well to talk about a couple different things. So that's going to be exciting. And then we're going to be there, both of us, at the end for the Q&A. So just send all the questions you might have. If not, I guess we'll just keep on talking and we'll just go from there, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so what time is it? Yes. Okay. Fuck it. Let's get started. Yes. That was the first thing I forgot to say is that I'm gonna do my best to avoid any swearing, but I can't make any guarantees. So we'll just have to deal with that. Okay, well, thank you for coming. Hello to everyone who just showed up. So today we're going to talk about the importance of real estate photography, how to start, well, why it's important, how to start, how to go about it, how to shoot yourself if you want to do it yourself, why you should hire professionals, and kind of all the details of why it matters, etc. So there's going to be a lot of information, so feel free to take any notes. We're also going to share the slides at the end, as well as the recording of this webinar. And we're also super accessible and flexible on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, messages, everything. So just reach out to us at any point if you have any questions. And yeah, just quick coffee break. Okay. So my name is Jonas. So I forgot to add Rafael actually. So sorry about that, Rafael. But so I'm the co-founder and CEO of Beazy. So I work mostly in sales, marketing, and project management. And we're also going to have Rafael Freitas from Beazy. So he's a Beazy CMO. So on the marketing side, he's going to join me as well to talk about branding and kind of the visual identity through photography. So what is Beazy? Of course, I'm just going to get this out of the way because you knew we're gonna do this at some point. So Beazy is a platform for content production. So we make content production easy all over the globe. So we by working with a bunch of creatives, locations, etc. So we have a really large network of creatives creatives in 150 plus cities in 50 plus countries, and a network of 5,000 plus creatives. And when we mean creatives, when I say creatives, I'm talking about photographers, filmmakers, set designers, models, and many more. So we really kind of make the matching phase of finding and booking the right people for your any type of shoots, photo and video shoots that you might have really easy. We also have lots of locations and equipment available. So that is part of the strong suit of Beazy, bringing everything into one. So like a one-stop shop for content production. So we have over 150 studios, houses, apartments, and other spaces, and 3,000 plus cameras, lenses, etc. So all the pieces of equipment that you need. By the way, I know there's some people from our team watching here. Usually I talk very fast. And so from the team and for everybody else, just let me know if I'm talking too fast. I'll try to slow down a little bit. And so yeah, we do creatives, locations, and equipment. We bring everything together and we give you all the tools, so kind of SaaS software and tools to kind of make the collaboration and production very easy. So to facilitate and accelerate your content production, and especially to kind of manage it remotely and at scale. So how do we know that it works? Because there are a bunch of productions already, and we work with really cool clients such as Zalando, Pinterest, Babbel, TaxFix, SAP, and many more. And okay, that's it about Beazy for for now. There's going to be more afterwards. Let's just get started. So at first, the why. So why photography and why this workshop? So the first thing here is that photography is really all about visuals. It's about showing stuff. And so I'm just going to give you some numbers at the beginning. And then I think since we're talking about photography, it's just easier to just show you instead of telling you. But sorry, the first part is that the human brain processes visual information 60,000 times faster than it processes text. So that's just like a nice number. But the important thing here is just that you can give much more information in a shorter span of time through visuals, so photography, animations, whatever it is, than through text. So this is why marketers always say it, don't tell, show. So every time that you can do something, and this goes for anything that you might be doing on the sales or marketing side, show it instead of saying it. It has been demonstrated that 65% of the population are visual learners, so that's quite self-explanatory. It's just they remember and learn stuff better by seeing it, and this is why most of the time, most of us remember better stuff that we saw rather than stuff that we've been told or that we just read somewhere. So if you can show me everything you want to sell me, it's always going to be better, and you have a much higher chance, I guess, of having like a lasting impact and being remembered, I guess. And so then here, this is a statistics straight from Airbnb, which most of you probably already know about, but that listings with professional photography get booked almost 3 times as often as those with amateur photography. So this always, of course, professional photography, high quality photography is better at delivering the message, I guess, that you want to go across, and it's better at capturing attention. So I just had like a little sentence here at the bottom. So beautiful imagery is memorable, it also captures attention, it informs, so it gives you all the information you need to have in a shorter span of time, and it tells a story. Around the story, it also builds credibility and creates a brand. So for you as a platform, as a seller, as any type of no matter the activity you might have, I guess, in the real estate space, it's important for you to have a reputation. It's important for you to create a brand and to build credibility and kind of be seen as a professional. And we're going to talk a little bit more about branding and visual identity a little bit later. But these are a couple of interesting things. So sorry, I skipped a slide. So here. Okay, I have a fly running around me, so that's fun. And so just a couple more numbers specific this time to real estate. So 75% of online shoppers rely on a product to make a decision. So the first part you're going to see is some of these are from e-commerce, but it's just like it applies to everything you do online. And these days, most of the transaction is happening on online. So you'll probably know of these statistics already. Is that 9 out of 10 buyers, so potential buyers for a home, are actually starting the research online. So most of this activity is taking place online these days, and online, the internet is a highly visual medium. And so right now we're doing a live stream. It is a video, it is a visual medium. Again, we're not writing this through text. We're not writing a blog article. You'll know about the popularity of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. They're all highly visual platforms. And this you'll see the head of Instagram himself kind of saying that it's not even just about photography as well, it's about videos as well. So this whole kind of visual world is extremely important. So 90% of customers start the buying experience online. This is what I just said, so 9 out of 10. And 60% of a buyer's time is spent looking at a listing photos compared to only 20% reading to the descriptions. And so this, again, makes a lot of sense. And I actually had the experience the other day. I was looking through Airbnb just to find some potential vacation rentals, and to be honest, I don't even look at the descriptions. Actually, you just look at the pictures. Sometimes you don't even open the listings themselves because the picture is enough to give you the information. And so a few pictures, 2, 3, 4 pictures are enough for me to know, like, do I like this? Am I interested in learning more? Or is it just a straight no? And most of the time, you can just do this in a couple seconds. And so the pictures are really, really important. So yeah, the listings with professional photos have 118 more online views, and also they sell higher, they sell faster and at a higher price. And so this is quite interesting when we're in the real estate space. So you know that you can sell a property 32% faster with professional images and at a 47% higher price per square meter than if you didn't have professional pictures. So when you're looking at the price of a house, for example, or a property that you might be renting out over a year or simply selling once, investing a couple €100 in professional photography makes a lot of sense when you look at these numbers and you see that it's going to make your whole life, to be honest, a lot easier. So this is a lot of numbers. We're talking about photography, so let me just show you. I have here a couple before and afters. Sorry about the presentation. I didn't have time to do all the on branding stuff. But so this was great because it's the same property that you can see before and after. So the before, to be honest, it's not particularly bad. If you're looking like on the picture on the left, like the bedroom, and on the right as well, like they're actually not that bad. We can see what is going on. There is nothing particularly bad with the picture, but just the professional one has just much more information. It's just much more inviting. And so this is the sort of stuff that you could do improve, I guess, yourself, like with a smartphone these days have really good cameras, so there are a lot of tips, and we're going to talk about them a little bit later, on how you could improve, I guess, the this your listings, and kind of make them look a lot better. But there's a lot of things that go into professional photography that makes it look attractive. It's not just the composition, the equipment, it's also the lighting. What are you trying to sell? And so there's a lot of questions you need to ask before you're able to move forward. I have another example here, and then we're going to go more into the details. So these are a little bit more drastic examples, I guess. So the ones on the left are this time a little bit worse. I'm just going to say bad, to be honest. They're just very, very bad. But on the right, suddenly it becomes very attractive. And you see that green kitchen is actually really, that's actually really, really big space, and we couldn't see the size of that space, and it was all kind of deformed as well. And so there's a lot of stuff you can save, and you can tell the story around when you have professional photography, and especially when you know what you want to show. So maybe just before we get started, I just wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of different things that you should know already, and just kind of general rules. So nothing is kind of set in stone, but these are things you should have in mind already from the beginning. And so this is, for example, related to the impact of the shoots, the images you will need to produce, what type of images do you actually need, and what image do you need to produce, and how you will use them. So all these different things. So there's a lot of questions you should try to answer before you get started shooting that will inform kind of the whole process and what your needs and requirements are as well. So the first thing here is time and budget. So this, of course, how much time you have with a property and how much time you have available to go on set and kind of make everything happen, and the budget you have available as well will have a big impact, of course, on what you can do. There might be some situations where you can go crazy with both time and budget and kind of do whatever you want and really go for the best best choice, I guess. Or sometimes you're just not going to be able to do that, and like a 5-10 minute shoot with a smartphone is the best that you're gonna be able to do. So if that's the case, we want to at least be able to give you some tips on how you can improve those smartphone photos. And then there's many levels, but so this is like a hard constraint, I guess, which is about time and budget. Here, maybe just a couple of basics, and then I'll just invite Raphael to join us as well. So there are many things that we could talk about that have an impact on your images and how effective they would be. But the main things, I guess, is really the goal of the shoot. So here you really have to think about what it is that you're shooting, for what purpose, and where you're going to use them. What are you trying to do? Is this like an advertising for your brand? Is this advertising for yourself? Is this supposed to go on a billboard? Is this going to be like a real estate listing on a platform? There are many different ways, and each use case that you might have here, you will probably need and use very different pictures. And so this is the sort of stuff that you have to keep in mind already from the beginning. And so you might not use the same images to advertise on the billboard that you would for for a shared student apartment, for example. And you might also not spend the same budgets in some cases. The same way that you maybe won't show a skiing chalet in like the Swiss Alps, the same way that you'd show like a luxury villa with a huge swimming pool in Beverly Hills. The type of images that you need are not the same, and the story you're trying to tell is not the same as well. Different people are looking for different things. And so here is where we go to the audience as well. You need to know your audience. So we're going to go into all of this a little bit deeper as well. But who you're talking to, what they want, where they come from, what are they looking for, this has a big impact as well on how you speak, what you show them, and what is important to them, and what you should include, of course, and what you should focus the pictures on. The brand guidelines. So here, like, is it just like a one-off shoot, or are you trying to match to really have like this brand recognizability, which in a quick second. And then there's a bunch of technical aspects as well. So just, for example, related to equipment, related to time, related to budget. And also this could be related to the brand guidelines. So you might want a certain level of quality, certain image sizes, etc. And this comes back again on like the goal of the shoot. And so maybe just I'm just going to invite Raphael quickly just to join us and talk a little bit about just the branding and take us through the next slide, and then I'll be back. So Raphael, what's up?
Hello, can you guys hear me? I
I
hope,
can hear you.
yeah, I hope you guys can hear me. You can just give it a thumbs up. But yeah, I just wanted to add a bit on what Jonas was saying, like before the branding, that this part of goal audience, the brand guidelines, technical aspects, this is something that it should be in your under your radar, whether you are in real estate or not. And in real estate, there's like you can think about like, oh, but I don't really have an audience. It's mainly I can whatever whoever wants to buy my property, I'm willing to sell. But maybe your property is more appealing to a certain demographics. Maybe if you have a 5-room property, it's easier to sell for families, and then you can cater your photography to appeal to families, and because they are the ones that are probably going to be the ones looking for the property. So it's not about who you want to sell to, but more about who are the people that are actively looking for properties that are the type of the property you're trying to sell. So this is like a market concept, applies for in any industry. You need to know who is the potential buyer. Many times the people you think are your potential buyers, they're not really who are buying your product. In this case, property. Um, but yeah, how do you can you create a brand just through photos? This is basically first you have to set what your brand wants to be. Basically, create an identity before you start like building this identity. You already have to know who what you want to portray about your brand. Here, like if we go in the next slides, I think I can start is more visual, and then we can have a better idea. So this here, like I think these websites are from like Dribble or Behance. So it's like people that design as a portfolio. They I don't think they are like very um, real like websites, but you can definitely see that here you have a color scheme that is way more friendly. There is like some pale tones both in the building and in the design, so it transmits a certain kind of emotion and identity. If we go to the next slide, Jonas, you get have like a more modern, so you can see that the photos are way more desaturated. You have this like two main colors with like this grayish and orange. So this style is a lot seen also in high-end automotive industry, for example, like Porsche or these very high-end cars. So it is modern. It is more a different vibe. Just looking at the photo, you can just by how much saturation you have in the photo, what is the composition, and if you're imposing the building, if you shoot it maybe from an aerial shot down, or if you shoot a wide lens from bottom up, you can give the same building a different kind of characteristic. You can show it in different ways, and this will depend both on the audience and your brand identity. So if you are a more towards luxury properties, you probably want more bold images that show off the property as the property is like the big center of attention. But if you are going for more in the familiar, maybe you want to focus on details of the common areas, which is the where the family spend most time together there. Because in the end, we're going to talk a bit more about emotions in the next slides also. But basically, what you want to bring is an emotion on the possible buyer. You want them to see the photo and resonate with them in some way. Yeah, either if it's like playful, or is like here innovative, or is it modern, or is luxury. This you have to define yourself who you want to target, And then with that, you can actually create a way better plan to get the photos and portrait that feeling that you actually want to convey. This is something that many people miss. They think the photograph is just a photograph, is just to show what is there. But you can have different photographs of the same place and have very different feelings transmitted, even the same setup. Like you give the same camera, the same lighting to three different photographers, and you give three different briefings, you're going to get three different, completely different results. And this is why it's important for you to know what you want to how do you want to portray your property in this case, or your product, if you go more into a marketing scale. And here were some examples. You can see that like the photos that we're seeing, they are way more different between them. When it comes from one to another, like if you see here, you have a pattern that tries to transmit the same thing, like this imposing. You can see there are like hard, large properties, very well lit. They are very much also shot in the blue hour, for example, where you can have the exterior lit by the sun still, and the lights at the same time, and it creates this big contrast that is like both day and night, and creates this like imposing kind of feeling. So each photograph can transmit a feeling, and in the end is basically this feeling that I'm trying to convey when it hits someone, when someone like feels this thing that I want to convey. That's when you connect, and that's when they think that the image is memorable, because it made them feel something. And for me, for example, I'm not really into luxury stuff. So when I see very luxury, I was like, okay, this is beautiful. It doesn't talk to me. But if I see a room that is very vintage, full of, I don't know, vinyls, I was like, oh, this is really cool, because this is my personality. And when you can match what the message you're trying to convey with something that is already in the possible buyer, is when you actually get this memorability. I don't know if we can call it this, but it is when you get your brand to be recognized. And memorability, yes. And basically from there is just keep it in constant. So in the future shoots, you try to keep the same characteristics, and then you build a brand around it. Like when we went to the innovative, you see there is a lot of geometric forms, because this is also convey the image. Yeah, see, you have the circles, the triangles. This is very like an architect coming from geometry itself. So it yeah, you just select a path you want to take and stick to it, and the more you do, the more you will create a brand around the imagery that you're creating. And also it's when you're gonna transmit the emotions, and I think that's the next topic. Am I right?
Yes, I'm gonna keep it going from here. But so yes, I'll just put you back down, Rafa. Thanks for
And if you
coming.
guys have any questions about branding, or how to build, or any ideas, we just leave it in the Q&A. We have a short session in the end, and then we can, yeah, I can answer any questions you might have.
Exactly. Thanks for coming. We actually speak quite a lot about branding pretty much every day, and so if you want us to do like a whole other workshop just about branding, we can talk about 2 or 3 hours easy on that. And so just just let us know, and we can make it happen as well. And so yeah, thanks Rafael for everything. I'll let you come up again. I'll definitely ask you a couple more questions, I guess, as we go. And so right now, as we said, so on the branding side, branding and high quality is important every time to like create a recognizable brand, memorability, and kind of create trust in your listings. And so first impressions matter. It's important that people trust you right from the get-go, and especially trust that your listing is real, it's not completely fake, and all this extra stuff. And so here, let's talk about quickly about quality. So lots of nice images. But so quality here is really important, and so quality doesn't just isn't just important when you're selling luxury properties, but also for lower price listings. And the lower price listings deserve just as much attention as your luxury listings. And so it's really easy to kind of fall in the trap that higher price listings deserve a lot more marketing and attention, etc. And so, of course, you would think that like $1 million home deserves more marketing, for example, than like a 150K or 200K home. So that seems like it makes sense, but I would actually argue that no, you should put the same level of efforts and go for the same level of quality for each one of your listings. And so this is like a branding question on one side. There's really you want to convey the message that you're going to do everything you do, you're going to do it well, I guess. And so this is not just about the photography, but it's also when one of your customers comes to you as well, and they're going to see that you're putting a lot of effort and a lot of budgets behind your higher price listings. They will ask the question, will you be able to do the same for their maybe smaller listing, or are you doing the same for everything else? And so then this also then opens the door to a lot of more questions then about, are you showing me only what you want to show me, only the best of the best, or are you showing me what you everything, I guess? And are you really being honest and transparent here with your listing, I guess? And so here the quality is really important then on everything you do, not just in photography, but also design, websites, communication, and everything. So this is probably something you already know, but this comes back on photography. And on the photography side of things, especially in the real estate space, you'd be surprised how often I see actually not professional photography, which then just doesn't want to make you click on it, and like even if it's sometimes not the photography, it's like the whole listing itself, where like you might have 2-3 good pictures, but there's so many pictures missing that they just simply don't get like a good view of the property. And so that is the sort of stuff that makes you lose a customer, or makes it that much harder for you to actually convince them than if you had put in the effort right from the beginning. A good example here is that if you look at online retailers, so like Zalando, Amazon, etc., they will put the same level of effort and marketing in a $5 pair of socks than like a $300 pair of designer boots or whatever it is. And so a product is a product, and the listing is a listing, and you want them to have the same level of quality on your website when you go there. And it's going to look really weird if I go to look at your properties on your website and I see some of them have incredible pictures with videos and drones and 360 videos and all that stuff, and some have like 3 pictures that you took in half a second with your smartphone. It just doesn't look professional. So yeah, let's just go into it a little bit. So there's a lot of things that go into quality. One thing here is about emotion. So just hit them right in the feels. So it's just this is just to say that emotion rules. Emotion is really the most important thing, and so most people buy for emotional reasons. If you make them just feel the right thing, they will take action. And so most purchases are actually not done by logic, but simply by because you created an emotional reaction in the person. So here you have to do your best to appeal to your customers' emotions and make them engage with your content. And so here I just have a couple of examples, and I want to take you through some case studies. It's so simple things, like for example, including a picture of a happy customer. So this could be inside the picture, could be on a landing page, on the website, etc. Can increase conversions up by like 102%. This is related to trust, for example, to branding, but also to emotions. That now it feels like I can see your translating, yes, the emotion of somebody else. So it's not just the happy customers, but it's the positive experience, and that happiness is actually contagious as well. And so you have little stuff like this, where like simply adding a little smile can increase sales by up to 10%. This, when you think about it, it's quite crazy actually. And so here I just want to show you the example here. So this guy, so very, very old, and let me just be honest here, like disgusting website. I was just gonna go around it, but let's just go straight to it. It's a really bad website. But so they A/B tested for about 2 weeks just to see then which landing page would work the best. And so you see it's exactly the same landing page, except on the left, the guy is not smiling. On the right, he is smiling. This tiny difference here, they saw a 1.3% increase in signups during that period, and a 9.9, so let's call it 10% boost in sales just because of that smile. And so that, that is the sort of stuff that is really weird, I guess, but when you think about it a little bit, it makes sense, and we have the results here to be able to show that. And so it's really so you have even a lot of neuroscience studies that show that smiling makes just a person look much more warm, attractive, welcoming, and approachable. And so this is the sort of stuff that people will get in touch with you to ask questions if you look approachable, as if you look extremely, maybe just too professional or just cold. So this is stuff to think about. So unless this goes against, of course, your branding guidelines for one reason or another, this is stuff you should probably consider. I have another example here. So again, design wise, this is, don't take these things as an example, but this is an online shop. So they sell art from Brazil and the Caribbeans. And so they just tested again for like 2 weeks. They A/B tested two different landing page versions. So which one would get more clicks and which one would get more conversions. So do you show the artwork directly, or should you show actually the artist behind the artwork? And so they just went from the pictures you have on the left, so it's showing the artwork, so actually showing the artists behind the artworks. And so that boosted the conversion rates by 95%. Actually, it's not sales, but conversion rates. And so up to 95% more clicks on faces than artworks. And these pictures are smartphone pictures. Again, they're by no standards great pictures. They're very, very basic pictures. If you just increase, you could increase these numbers by just using professional photography again. So this is not related directly to real estate, but it just kind of shows a little bit the power that people and photography, high quality photography, can have. So just since I just show you like really bad designs, I just feel like I have to just do a little parentheses here. So just a little bonus slide, I guess. So design is really important. Pay attention to design. Design it goes hand in hand with photography, especially on your website. So take the time to make a beautiful website. Again, we talked about that the fact that the human brain processes visual information 60,000 times faster. So it takes 50 milliseconds for somebody to decide if they're going to stay on a website or not. So this is something like it's everything about the whole look of your website, of your platform. So this is the design, the presentation, the text, the images you're going to be using, everything matters. And so if you have like a really, really bad picture or really bad design, people will quit before the website finishes loading. So pay attention to this sort of stuff. And so 94% even of people say that web design is the main reason they would mistrust a website. So you can have the best listings in the world, you can have the most unique homes, maybe a luxury property that can only be bought from you, and it's going to be great. But if your website is shit, it's going to be that much harder to get them, first of all, to stay on the website, and then to actually engage with you in any way. So pay attention to this. Then I just want to come back a little bit here on actually, I noticed, like, as usual, I speak way too much. So I'm just going to try to speed through things because I wasn't sure. Yeah, we were going to, yeah, sorry. So it's just that we're going to spend, it's going to take too long, actually. So I'm just going to speed through it very fast. But so here, again, what you should do here is just about, when you're talking about emotions, is that this is not just a property that you're selling. Of course, it is a beautiful apartment, a beautiful home, whatever it is. But it's when you're speaking to your customers, this is not just a home. It's not just an apartment. This is a home for you to live in. This is your future. This is where you want to spend your days, where you will wake up, where you will go to sleep, where you will raise your children, all these different things. And so it is also on your side and your responsibility to say this and to kind of transmit this feeling. And so these pictures that you see on the left, they're really good pictures, to be honest. They're really good real estate pictures. But so now if you're trying to sell this as a home, the perfect home for you, when you come live, I'm in Berlin right now, so come live to Berlin, for example, there is stuff you can do. You can improve the level of photography to more than just showing you the space, but actually telling you a story. So you could bring it to here. And now I'm learning about the space. So maybe for brand reasons, you might decide that this is too dark, or it's not the right format, or you simply don't want to do it. And I wouldn't suggest doing only this sort of pictures, but this is, if you add 1, 2, 3 pictures like this to your listing, this improves conversion, retention, memorability, everything else, because now I can actually see what is going on through this window. I can imagine myself being there through the window and actually looking through the window, and I can opening it in the morning or whatever it is. And you can even bring it a step further to actually put people there. And people will remember people more than they will remember places. So I have a lot more chances to remember this picture here on the right than the one on the left, where it's simply nice chairs and a nice space. Because now I can, whenever I'm discussing, for example, with my partner, I visited 3 apartments. Which one am I most interested in? Whenever I discuss it with my partner, now we will both remember, and we will be able to easily refer, I guess, to this one where there was the picture of the 2 girls standing at the window, and I can imagine myself being there and inviting my friends and all this extra stuff. I have another example here in the same in this with the same idea, I guess, is that on the left, really good pictures again, and in the middle, you see not all of these pictures are necessarily that good. This one, for example, in the middle with like the little stuff, you might say that this is a smartphone picture. You know, it's not necessarily that great of a picture quality wise, but it tells a bit of a story. You know, it tells you more than just showing you the space. It creates an atmosphere, it creates a vibe. It tells you it can tell you how it is living there, what type of people it might appeal. So maybe you don't want to go too deep into this if you're not sure about your audience. But as Raphael said before, like if you know that the house you're selling is for families, play it. You know, show families, show how families will be using the space. Don't just show me the big table, but put some people around the table. You know, show me how good it's going to be, how amazing it's going to be, and really make me dream of being there. You know, and so now it's not just about really showing that yes, I know you can cook in a kitchen, but how nice is it? How, you know, show some of the functionalities, I guess. And I have a bunch more examples of this, so I just want to do it very quickly. But it's just really, this comes back on like some actually here are even 3D rendering, so it's not really about the what or how you show it, but it's really here. I want to just go a little bit deeper on just really this and push on this argument. Like, you need to be able to tell a story. And so all the pictures on the left side, there might be really good pictures. They might be really good pictures that you would not hesitate to put on your listing, and that is completely fine. But they don't necessarily tell a story. The ones on the right, you might not always need or be able to like bring a dog or a couple or anything like that. You know, you might not simply, as we talked about, not have the time or budget. But these pictures are much more memorable, and they tell much more of a story regarding the space. Here, maybe I wanted to just a little bit more specific on the bathroom. So this is just bathrooms. Make the comparison on the left and on the right. The pictures on the left of the bathrooms on the left are really nice, really beautiful pictures, and they're great to show me around the bathroom, to show me what it is, what is there, what there isn't, and kind of the features, the space, etc. But then if you're trying to really sell me on the bathroom, make me dream of this bathroom, then you have to go with the close-ups. You have to go and show me some of the details and kind of make me imagine it was me there. You know, now I can picture myself being any one of these people you see on the right and actually enjoying that bathtub. It's not just that there is a bathtub, it's that it is a fucking amazing bathtub, and they're enjoying it. It looks great. I want to be there. So these are the things, you know, that you can do to kind of push it to the next level. I have another example here, just with the kitchen again. So it is exactly the same things. So just you don't need to overdo this. I just want to stretch this out. I'm talking about it a lot, but a couple pictures in your listing, 3, 4, 5, are more than enough. You don't need to overdo it, and you need to. It's really important that you find a balance. Customers still want to see the details of the property. They still want to see its sizes, its lighting, all that extra stuff. So you don't have to overdo it and go with super lifestyle shots and just do that. And also, you run the risk, if you go too specific, of telling a story that your customers just don't relate to. And so this, again, like if you're selling to students, putting a family in the kitchen probably doesn't help. You know, like, it looks great, okay, but I'm not relating to it. This is not how I'm going to use it for. So these are things that you might want to go really deep when you know very well who your audience is and how you talk to them and what they're looking for. But if you're not sure, or you have like a property that could be useful for multiple audiences, then I wouldn't go too far into it. Maybe a couple shots like you see on the bottom right, for example. Just if you're having a kitchen, you can decorate it a little bit, do a little bit of set design, staging, and you know, it's up to you kind of to find that right balance. But there is such a thing as overdoing it. Yeah, so be careful about that. Then just one extra tip here is really about one image, one goal. You shouldn't overdo it. So this isn't about real estate. So I have a real estate example for you right after, but this is from Cheerios. So if you look at this ad, I read the text and there is nothing else for me to look at aside from the product. And so here you have to be careful not to saturate. It's good to do some set design, to do some staging, but don't saturate your images with too much information. You should decide, and you should be very clear about what you want your customers to see in each pictures, and you should really focus on that picture. And so you have even so Microsoft kind of revealed some time back through some studies that our attention span has decreased to 8 seconds, which is about 1 second less than the goldfish. So that's not ideal, I guess. But so that makes it even more challenging for you. So the thing is that people will not focus on an image for a very long time. And as we saw, like the human brain is able to just kind of analyze the picture without looking at its whole content. So they just look at pieces of the picture, and you're able to identify big parts of it. And so it is up to you to really grab the person's attention really, really fast, and to not let it go, and focus it on the right thing. Here I have an example from Airbnb. So I just literally this morning, I opened the Airbnb website, and this is what they showed me. And this is a great example, because there's not too many things to look at. There is literally one thing. It doesn't matter where this picture was taken. It could be in any one of the continents. It doesn't really matter. What I see, and so this is what, not sure where to go. Like, I don't even need to know where this is. There's just one thing to look at. It's right in the center. It's inviting. It's great lighting. It's standing out from the rest of the pictures. There is great light. The rest is black. And here you have the light coming in from the back, and especially you have a person, again, a smiling person welcoming you in. So this is kind of welcoming me to go in an adventure and kind of book a place anywhere. It doesn't matter, just a beautiful place. And Airbnb is kind of associating themselves with that idea of adventure and discovery, and being a welcoming platform as well. And so this is a great example here and it's not, this Airbnb here is a great example, not just because of the photography, but this is the hero section in their homepage. So it's like the first thing you see when you go to Airbnb and see it. And so you could analyze this and think, what do they want me to see? This is even, it's almost grabbing more attention from me than the search bar. And so here, might be like a big branding strategy, I guess, that you really want to associate and kind of give specific feelings to your customers. And so there is technology that you can use as well to kind of measure this. You have eye tracking technology that you can implement on your website, or you can do tests. A lot of e-commerce sites kind of do this, where you're able to see what people look at specifically, and you can have heat maps to see where they go. And so there's a lot of things to know here. So that, for example, most people look at images or any screen from left to right. And so you should have that in mind, is that most people will go from left to right and from up to down. And so you can use that to kind of decide where to put your information. And so different people as well look at different things. And so you might see that people in different countries with different interests in different target groups look at different things, and they care about different things. And so in this same image, many people might just simply go through the search bar. Many people will go through the CTA, so the I'm flexible button, and some will wander around. So they will have very different behaviors. And so this is stuff that you can study and you can optimize for as well. And so again, like keeping it simple. And so here you can see that this is a really good, easy and simple image. And another thing that you don't exactly see here, that you could do even more, and that you see quite often, I guess, is that you can guide the attention where you want people to go. And so you have a lot of people, and you have a lot of websites that use this, I guess, on their homepage, where you might have a person, like the face of a person there looking to the left. And what is on the left? Oh, the CTA, like where I want you to click. So it kind of redirects my image, my attention there, because we know we will start on the left side of the screen, most likely up to the left. And the first thing my eyes will go to is a human face. And so if you put that human face there, great, but that human face is looking at something, which is the CTA. Now I look at the CTA. And I said I was going to speed it up. I'm not exactly doing that. So let me just keep going. So I just want to talk about goals very quickly. So this is where you really get started. So let me just take you through some of the more useful or applicable, I guess, tips for today. So the first thing you should do is really ask yourself, what do you want to achieve and who are you talking to? And so here, this is really important. This is, as I said multiple times already, this will determine everything that you do, what you take pictures of, how you take pictures of it, etc. So for example, what you want to achieve here could be something like, are you trying to book visits? Are you trying to get contact information, to get clicks, to get to sell a home, So, or is it like a vacation rental, for example? You're trying to create a brand, show the view, show the space, show the details of your property. There are many different things that you might be aiming for, and these are things you should have in mind already from the beginning. And again, who you're talking to, this knowing your audience. So you need to know your audience. You need to know what you're talking to, what they like, what they don't like, what they care about, what they don't care about, what they hate, what they're looking for, what they want to see, so that you can show them what they want to see. Because you might have the best property, but if I'm looking through pages and pages of available places to rent in Berlin, uh, your place, like, you're just one click, one little swipe away from just not getting me as a customer. It's just, it could be like a one click thing. So if you just get my attention the right way, you choose the right picture as your first picture, you might get click. Otherwise, it's just so easy for me to just go to the next page or even the next website. So this, you need to know this. And then the second part of this is really just the focus. So once you know who you're talking to and what your goal is, now you can be very focused on the type of pictures you're going to get. So don't lose yourself in just photographing everything. You don't need to shoot everything. You just need to shoot the right things. I'm just checking if you guys are still here. Thanks, Anna, for the comment. I'm going to try and speed it up as well. I see that we've already been here for 45 minutes, but I've got some interesting things here. So just, yeah, let's just go. So here, just a couple tips, I guess, on like what you should focus on in specific conditions. So this is going to be very different. What if you know what do you want to achieve and who you're talking to, your answers might change quite a lot here on the following slides. But these are just some general rules and some mistakes we see way too often in the real estate space. So if you're doing if you're shooting the exterior, show the whole property. You need to, of course, you need to show all around, but of course you can focus on the best angles, put the best angles in front. But it is really important to show everything all around. And this is a general rule. If you don't show it, we will assume that it's either not there or that it's, I'm trying not to swear, or it's a broken or messed up or something like that. And so this, yeah, always show the whole property and show the entire exterior, not just a facade or anything like this. Just include also the landscaping, exterior lighting, and more. The only exception to this might be apartments, where the facade of an apartment might not always be the most interesting part. So unless it's just been brandly renewed or anything like that, you probably won't show this as your first picture. You might include it later on, but that is not the priority. So apartments are kind of the exceptions to this. And then as soon as anytime that you're shooting the exterior, you have to mind the weather and time of the day. So different weathers and times of day can radically change the mood of an image. So if you're shooting in the morning, at noon, in the afternoon, at night, this changes completely the type of image. And so here we saw a little bit when Raphael was talking some of the examples of listings we had over there as well. So when you in the kitchens and bathrooms, these are actually, and so we have a lot of statistics on this as well, that they're usually the most important rooms in the house. And these are the rooms where potential customers will not hesitate to skip a property entirely just because they didn't like the kitchen. So there's not much you can do if the kitchen is, to be redone, to be renewed, or anything like this, but you can show it in a positive way. And you can also you can frame it, I guess, in a positive light, and you can show its features and functionalities to make it interesting. Again, it's all about grabbing people's attention and keeping them engaged, just so that you have enough time to tell them what you want to tell them. And so don't limit yourself to just showcasing spaces and designs. Just go zoom in, show if you have a beautiful tap, a beautiful sink in your bathroom, show it. We need to know about it. And just everything that makes it stand out, that makes it different, that makes it special, put it in front, show it. Same for bedrooms. And so bedrooms, if you have multiple bedrooms, show every room. If you don't show the room, we'll assume it's not there, or you're hiding it because, again, something is messed up. That's the word, messed up. And so if you have to choose, always choose the biggest room, usually the master bedroom, because that's most likely where the buyer will be sleeping. And so if you want to put that as like the first shot or anything like this, use the master bedroom and not one of the smaller ones, although that is quite self-explanatory. I guess that makes sense, but quite logical. But I see quite often people kind of not doing this, and so the first image is a tiny, disgusting room, and for whatever reason I click anyways. Especially while I was doing the research for this webinar, and then you explore the listing and realize that, wow, it's actually a beautiful space, but you you didn't show me the best picture first. It doesn't make sense. And one thing that is really important here again is pay attention to the windows. And so I'm going to talk more about it after. But so this is something, there's no hard rule here. So if the outside is just not beautiful, maybe it was bad weather or anything like this, maybe you want to close the curtains, or you want to just kind of make it overexpose it so that it's all white and we can't see it. You can do that, but if you can, and if there is a nice view, pay attention to it. It adds a lot when you can see a nice view outside, when I can see what I will wake up to every morning for the next couple of years. And again, this is another thing, that if you don't show it, if you close the curtains or anything like this, first of all, it reduces the light in the room. But again, we go back to to the same thing, that if you're not showing it, you're hiding something. Yeah, so in the living spaces, the most important things, which are quite logical as well, is that showing sizes. So you really need to show how big the room is, how it can be used, and how it can be arranged in multiple different ways. This is a beautiful room, beautiful atmosphere we've created here to show you, but you might want to arrange it in a very different way, and you can do it. And so then, for example, paying attention to how it flows in the house. So this picture here is a great example that you're not just showing the couch and the TV and the living space, but I can clearly see where the exits are to go in the garden, where the stairs are going, where the bedrooms are probably on top, the kitchen is at the back, you probably have an entrance in the back to the right. And so this kind of shows what they will see, how they will move in the space, where people will be coming from, what their guests, if they invite people over, will see, what their first impression would be, where they will go, all these different things. These have like a really big impact on the potential customer, and this can be the difference between a sale or like a lost opportunity, I guess. Then just a quick little last thing, just when it comes to like different parts of the property, is about surroundings. And so when you're talking about surroundings, and this is the worst part usually that people kind of fail most often, I guess, is that you need to sell now the neighborhood and lifestyle. And so this is when you're trying to sell me a property, let's say, or like a vacation rental, let's say Center Mitte in Berlin. It's, you can tell me that there's like a bus stop at 5 minutes. It's better if you show me what bus stop, where is it. So even a map, of course, is very useful. But again, we go back to don't tell, show. And so not just the neighborhood, but the lifestyle as well. And so here, high quality images will go much, much further than just a little map. Use high quality photography that creates emotion. People are not moving to any neighborhood when they have the choice. They're moving to the neighborhoods that they love, that they like, that they want to live in, that they see themselves in. So again, everything goes back to emotions. So show where the buyer will be, where they will be sleeping, where they will wake up every morning, while they will come back home as well. And so show them that this is the place for you. This is the best possible place. But also, keep it realistic. Don't overdo it. And so, keep it in the neighborhood. Make it realistic. So, like, if you're selling something in Paris, like, of course, there is the Eiffel Tower. Maybe it's nice if there is an actual view from the apartment. Show it, but it's no need to just put the Eiffel Tower like in every in every listing you have in Paris, because at some point it's just not realistic, and like I know it's not in the 5 to 10 minutes drive of or walk from my home, so just don't put it, because unless you're selling to expats, for example, that are moving to France for that. But otherwise, at some point, it feels like you're just lying to me, and you're just showing me all the stuff that I want to see. And customers are not they're not dumb, they know what is going on. Okay, so let's quickly just move to the type of shots. So you have wide angles, so wide shots, medium shots, detail shots. So they have different use cases, which I think make quite a lot of sense. So most of your shots are usually wide and medium shots. So wide are really used mostly to kind of show the space, show how it interacts with the rest of the home, showing the views, showing the flows, and how people will move through the space. Mediums is just to show some specific parts of the space, and to kind of show the best, usually the best bits and the best better presented, better designed part of the homes, I guess. In details, you usually keep it just for the really big highlights, for the best parts. So like if you have, this was a bad example, but if you have like a really cool light bulb, I guess you can show the light bulb to everyone. Why not? So since we're on a clock, I'm just going to move fast. So do's and don'ts, just a quick couple do's and don'ts that you'll probably find quite obvious. So do use high quality professional imagery wherever possible. We already showed you these pictures, and don't take pictures yourself with a smartphone unless you really know what you're doing. But in most cases, you'll probably most always win just by going with a high quality imagery done by professionals. It is worth the time and the money. Do include people in your images. If you do it, include real people in your actual listing. Don't do some Photoshop thing or just using meaningless stock images of people smiling like you see on the right. And that's actually a pretty good stock image because everybody knows this. We all see that it is stock image, that you haven't done it specifically for this listing, and it doesn't actually give me any emotions. It feels fake and transparent, kind of plastic. So if you can avoid that, always avoid stock images. Oh, and sorry, if you do stock images, then take high quality stock images. So I would suggest, for example, going for Pexels or Unsplash. You can check out the websites. They have great pictures. Yeah, do show positive image and frame them positively, and don't show negative images or problems. If you have to show stuff that isn't done, for example, that need to be renovated, this is about framing. Don't frame it as a problem, frame it as an opportunity. So here a suggestion would be, for example, don't show the broken kind of before version of a kitchen that still needs renovation. You could quite easily make a rendering or even just improve on it a little bit by showing what the after could look like. This is an opportunity for your customer to design their dream kitchen. It's not a problem that needs to be solved. So here it's framing is very important. And then definitely show better, but fewer, but better and bolder images. So you don't need to just show 150 times the same pictures. Less pictures, but better pictures are always better, as long as, of course, you're not hiding anything from the property. Do analyze great real estate images and competitors. So this is what we did, for example, for Airbnb or any other type of platforms that you have that you know about. Go and check out what they do. Check out what works. The market moves really fast, both in real estate and in the technology and the photography, video, and everything that is possible to promote and market your property. And so don't just be stuck in your ways. Don't just select one option once and keep doing it for the next few years. Always be looking out what works, what doesn't work, and test all the time. Yes. So do furnish the property and prepare each room. So if you're going to shoot it yourself or even with a photographer, it is always worth taking the time to kind of design and stage the property to make it to display it in the best possible light. And this goes again like with if you know who you're talking to, if you know your audience, you can put the right furniture, you can put the right accessories and props to make it speak and relatable to them. But be careful, very careful not to over or underdo it. A picture can very quickly feel crowded, like just overcrowded, I guess, or just completely empty. And unless that is what you're going for, it usually isn't a good bet. So here, it's all about balance again. Do definitely add a pop of color, to bring your pictures to life, to make them memorable, to make them stand out on a platform, to make them attractive, and so that especially, memorable, I guess, and standing out are the most important things. But again, don't overdo it, or it's going to look very messy very quickly. This still looks very good, but like a couple more colors, and it would be a problem. Like I just don't understand what is going on, especially when it's small on a listing. So here again, you go back to the question at the beginning: what is it that you're trying to do? Where will this picture be used, and how will people see it? Do pay attention to the weather. This can improve or kind of bring down a lot of the pictures that you make. And so if you go at the right time or with the right weather, you might have the right sunlight hitting at exactly the perfect angle inside. This goes for all the everything we said as well for the exterior shots. And so don't just schedule a shoot whenever is like easier for you just because you have those 10 minutes and that's it. So unless we go back to the time and budget thing, if you have the time and budget, in some cases, always pay attention to time and weather. Do show the exteriors and view from the windows. So this again is exactly what I mentioned before. And so anytime you can, avoid closing the curtains or hiding the exteriors. It feels a lot less bright, and it also feels like you're hiding something potentially. And so if it is the case that just the exterior is not super welcoming, for example, or simply you took the pictures in winter and it's not what you wanted to show, then of course it makes sense that you might want to close the curtains or simply kind of overblow it so that it's all white. But these are these should be like conscious decisions and not just default that you didn't pay attention to and now it's too late. And if you overblow the pictures, like overexpose them, you can never get that data back. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't just bring it down. So be careful and be mindful of this before you even start shooting. So now we're getting to the end. I have a couple more slides, which I didn't have time to design, to be honest. And so I have a couple missing slides. So I'm just going to quickly go through it just very quickly. So staging wise, just a couple tips is that it's good to reduce clutter. So as we said, keep it simple, keep it minimalistic, focus the attention of your buyer on what you want to show them, not just any random items that might be just laying around. Reorganize the furniture. Don't be afraid to move things around. If it's just cutting off the flow of the room, or is just hiding some stuff, or the edges of it might be like just too harsh, or whatever it is, don't hesitate to just move everything around. This is about the space, not the furniture, and it's also about showing what can be and not what necessarily already is. So to go crazy with that. Lighting is always great, so just add as much lights as you can. Make it bright, make it sunny if you can. Open the doors, open everything, show what is going on. Don't hide anything behind curtains, closed doors, couches, whatever, furniture, anything like that. So show how people will be moving through the spaces, how it's connected. Be very careful, and this is also if you're going to shoot by yourself as well, about mirrors. This is one of the traps that pretty much everybody falls into, especially at the beginning. So not just mirrors, but every and any reflective surfaces, you most likely will catch yourself in the mirrors at some point. It is quite embarrassing when a customer has to tell you, hey, we can see you in the pictures, by the way. So yeah, just that's just a little thing to keep in mind. Again, I just mentioned it, but curtains and blinds, keep them open as you can, and as much as you can. And unless you know your audience very specifically, then the goal is usually, when it comes to staging, to keep it kind of universally appealing, or at least appealing to a larger audience than just 5 people in Berlin that might be interesting in this sort of stuff. Oh, thanks for the positive comments, Javier. Okay, so what can make your this is like just a little bit of a recap, I guess, of a lot of the things that I already mentioned. But what can make your listing go from good to great? Because of course we're looking for greatness, for the best possible things, I guess. So of course, quality of the pictures. So this is what we're talking about. So all of the things we mentioned, like composition, framing, lighting, the equipment you use, the set design, staging, etc. Everything, all of these things can impact the quality. So overall quality of the picture is very important. If you want to just level up a little bit your pictures, it should provide context. So this is what we already talked about as well. Like, just don't just show the kitchen, show me how the kitchen is used, show me how people interact with the kitchen, or like with this bed or whatever it is. Show it in context. Build trust as well. So here, there's a lot of things you can do to build trust. This goes on like your whole can encompass like your whole company, communications, brand image, branding, visual identity, all these different things. But even on the listing itself and the photography itself, there's a lot of things you can do to build trust. And the most important things I would say is to be transparent. Don't hide stuff. That is the most important part. Then we go back to using people in pictures. Just having people in pictures, it just looks much better. You capture my attention a lot better. And especially most real estate listings aren't doing this, aside from maybe the very extra luxury ones, or the ones that have a lot of time and budget available. And so you will stand out from the crowd just by using people in your pictures. And so why not, use pictures, use people. Show multiple angles. So now you showed me the kitchen. Great. I see that there is a kitchen. Thank God. But now show me multiple angles of this kitchen. Show me the features. Show me the highlights. And so multiple angles is really important. If you think about it, this is quite standard in all e-commerce shop. You would never buy pretty much anything online on Amazon or any other website if you don't have at least 3 angles of the picture. And these days, even if you don't have like 360 views of the picture, it's getting harder and harder. So definitely these lessons apply exactly the same to real estate. One picture of a bedroom is not enough. Show me multiple angles of the same thing. I want to see it on all the angles possible to make sure that it is trustworthy, it is real, and there's no problems on any side. So if you can do 360, that is great, or video even. And by the way, we have webinars on that. So coming soon. This is related to the people as well, but create a scene. If you can create a scene, again, I'll just use the kitchen example, but create a scene, show people cooking, show people entering the home, show people setting the table, make me kind of believe that this is how my life could potentially look like. So not what it will look like, but like, make it better, improve it, sell me a dream. That always helps. And then, of course, you can be creative. So, for example, you can use reflective surfaces to just kind of improve the image a little bit. You can use nice props. There's a lot of things you can do. So, don't never limit yourself. Just to go full creative. Just be crazy. Just try things out. It's always worth trying. And then, last thing here that can add a lot of value is, as we said, most people spend 60% of their time looking at the pictures of a listing and not the description. So, if you have really important information that you want to say, put it in the picture. So if you can show it, better. If you need to do an overlay and write on top of the picture, you can write in the picture. So it's not just about the photography, it's about the space you have when talking to a customer, when you're on a website. So like kind of the digital real estate space, I guess. Make use of it. If you have an empty space in your picture, write something in it. You can use that space and that time and that attention that you already got to deliver a message. Now, quickly, because this, I wanted to talk about it for this. I wanted to spend a lot more time on this part of like shooting yourself. But as you noticed, I talk way too much. And so this might be like a whole webinar in itself. So I'll just quickly go through it. So like what to keep in mind if you want to shoot yourself. So I don't want to overload you with technical details because they're, to be honest, quite a lot. But the first thing is, of course, do the research. So that's not very useful, so I'm going to tell you. But if you can always do more research, watch videos, read articles, and try it at home before you test. You go on a location. Test your skills at home and be honest with yourself as well. Like, is this are my skills up to the task, or is it just better to spend the money and hire a professional? Second thing, when it comes to equipment, there are a lot of different pieces of equipment you could use. The basic ones is just camera. So a mirrorless or DSLR is what we recommend. Lenses. So there's a lot of lenses. Once you start talking about lenses, we can talk about it for like a few hours. But so wide angle lens, so for something between 16 to 35 millimeter is a good start, so that you can go really wide, but having like a more medium sized frame as well is a great start. And you definitely need a tripod to avoid motion blur, be able to bring more light into your picture, and have a right perspective, so not everything kind of all messed up. So this is really important if you want to kind of level up your game, but you will need to learn to use that equipment as well. So it is quite an investment. So budget-wise, financial investment, I guess, but mostly time. You need to learn how to use these things. It's not about just clicking. So you can have a remote trigger. We would definitely suggest using a flash trigger, so you can have flashes not linked to your camera directly, light modifiers, and of course light stands. So it is a lot of equipment. We can go into it a lot more if you want, but it does take a little bit of practice. And so this, I would only suggest making this investment if you're going to do it long term. And if you think you're going to be able to spend the time to actually learn and make that time investment, to actually learn the skills. Definitely then pay attention, as we already said, to time of the day and weather, and be careful not to forget a couple things. So it's great to have like a checklist of what to prepare before you have on set. So definitely have a standard shot list for each property. Once you're on set, you will forget stuff. You will forget to take a couple pictures. So better to shoot more pictures than not, but you need to have like a checklist or a shot list of what you absolutely need to get, and you will be able to check it as you go on set, as you're shooting and you go from room to room. Already prepare your gear the night before. So as when you were a child, and you go to school, I never did this, to be honest, but my parents told me to, like, prepare your bag the night before. So if you can, do it. Declutter, take a lot of the useless stuff out. As we said, go back to keep it simple, keep it minimalistic, and focus the shot. You decide what people will see and not the opposite. Walk through the whole home before you start shooting, just so that you're aware of how long it's going to take, what the rooms are, how you can go about it, and how you can better show them. Pay attention to the reflections and decide as well on the lights. Do you want to keep them on or off? This will have some impacts on your images as well. Now, if you don't want to shoot yourself, or you're asking yourself, why professionals, there are a couple easy things, I guess. So like I'm just going to keep it very simple. So quality, time, experience, eyes, and consistency. So quality wise, professionals will in 99.9% of cases be able to shoot better pictures than you if you're not a professional yourself. So it is pretty much always worth the investment if you're going for higher quality. Even if you don't want to get such a high super high quality, you're just happy to be able to show the listings properly, the time that it will take you to get that same level of quality is a lot more, especially once. And here the most important thing is that a professional is able to see things that you just can't see. And this, we had the experience, I had the experience myself, for example, when we talked to Rafael and my co-founder Julie, etc. When you talk about web design, there's a lot of stuff that makes a big difference on click-through rates, etc., and conversions that I'm not a professional, I just honestly don't see it. And there are games that you can play for this to, can you see the details? Are you able to see if the lights were on or off? All these different little things, the smile that we showed you before, like, well, did you see that the guy was smiling or not? All these different things. Then experience, of course. So the experience here isn't just related to quality, that the photographer will be able to provide higher quality, but they will know already what to do, what not to do, what to avoid, how to go about it, and kind of best practices of the business as well. And so you have all that business side because you're a professional in your space, but the photographer does this every day. They know how to go about it, how to not waste time, what is important, what is not important, what a client, especially what clients always ask. There's a big list of things that clients want that they all realized afterwards that they actually just don't need. And this is stuff that the photographer will be able to make to tell you and to recommend to you as well. And so then I go back to eyes. So this I just mentioned, actually just seeing things that you might not be able to see when it comes to composition, little details, and then consistency. So it's not just about making a great shoot once, it's about making great shoots every time. So if you have 10 listings on your page, each one of those 10 listings needs to be amazing. It needs to be on brand, same level of quality, same colors. And these are all things that you can do. And so, of course, now we go back to the little plug for Beazy. If you're looking for professionals, where do you go? Of course, Beazy. So content production made easy. So just let us know. To be honest, I'm just going to keep this short, but just let us know if you need any photo shoots. So we can help you with photographers, filmmakers, drone pilots, pretty much everything. We do 360 videos. Everything that you need. We have models, actors, the whole community of creatives in 150 cities in over 50 countries. And so if you need anything, just let us know. I'm going to put my phone number at the end. Just send me a little message on WhatsApp, call me midnight, and maybe not midnight, but yeah, just send me a message and should be all right. So we have a couple more webinars coming in. So we have a webinar next week. Is it next week? Yeah, December 9th, to sell more properties with real estate videos, where we're going to go a lot deeper on videos. The following week, we are going to talk about drones, VR, and 360 videos, kind of the new tech that is currently revolutionizing the real estate space. So we'll spam you about those, so don't worry, and you'll see all our posts on LinkedIn about those as well. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, etc. We have newsletters, so just and you'll see it on YouTube as well. So these are going to be very exciting, and we're going to have some special guests as well. And did I have something else? No, that's me. That's me. So like, if you have any questions, if you want to talk to me, here's my email. You have my phone number. You can, when you get the slides, you'll be able to just kind of click on the little schedule a meeting thing. And we have a great video on YouTube from Rafael and Daniel from our team, where they react to, so a filmmaker and a marketer that reacted to a bunch of real estate videos and kind of deciding if they were worth the investment or not. You'll learn a lot about people, about what people not in the business and professional kind of filmmakers and marketers see when they look at your content. And I think you can learn a lot from that. And okay, we're finally, it took a while, but we're finally here. We're finally here. So, yes, I see a lot of nice comments. So thank you so much, guys, for all the positive feedback. And I'm sorry for, I should have said this at the beginning. I thought it wasn't going to be a problem that I speak too much, but as usual, it was a problem. And so now just let me know if you have any questions. If you have any questions, we're happy to take a couple minutes to answer them. But since we took so long, well, I don't see any questions coming in. So what I would say is just simply reach out to us. Well, on Beazy, you have all the emails. You have my personal email there, my phone number. So feel free to call me, send me any questions, suggestions, or if you're looking for anything. And yeah, Rafael, I'm just gonna bring you back because I see you're still here. Yo,
I am. I am.
so I'm gonna
Um,
wait a minute for the questions, but I didn't want to wait alone. Sorry.
yeah. No. And yeah, if any questions regard branding or more into marketing style, then like the light here is so bad. I'm trying to make myself more presentable. Just hit me up on LinkedIn as well, Rafael Freitas. You're gonna find through Beazy, and happy to help.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, but you told me before that there might have been too many slides, that it was going to take a little bit too long. I thought I was going to be able to go through it, but yeah, sorry, you were right. You were right.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so
it's good. It's good.
yeah.
A lot of information packed.
I think we might need to redo this one, maybe go a little bit deeper, because this was a great, I guess, like overview, just talking in surface about a lot of things. But honestly, I think each one of the slides we mentioned, we could have gone a lot deeper into all of them and talked easily like 45 minutes, 1 hour on pretty much all the topics. So maybe next time we'll just go like much more specifics. So this is like our first series of webinars on real estate. So just let us know if you like them or not. And okay, so I guess no questions. So I guess this is it. This is it. Yeah,
See you in 2 weeks.
exactly. Or hopefully see you tomorrow on your LinkedIn feed, because now we're trying to post a lot more. So yeah, hopefully.
Keep an eye. We were gonna post some real estate content as well. So if you even if you don't wanna like come to all the webinars, just connect with us on LinkedIn. We're gonna share some knowledge on the creative side.
Yes, beautiful. Okay, well, thanks so much, everyone. We'll talk to you soon, and reach out to us if you have any questions. And we'll just wish you a good evening, I guess. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Have a good weekend. See ya.